Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Americans for the Arts 29th Annual Nancy Hanks Lecture on Arts and Public Policy. Amazing. I'm Bob Lynch, President and CEO of Americans for the Arts, and I want to thank you for joining us here tonight here at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. We are joined by many special guests, including Congressman David Cicilline of Rhode Island, a great friend of the arts, and Senator Tom Udall from New Mexico, who received our 2015 Congressional Arts Leadership Award last year, and National Endowment for the Arts Chairman Jane Chu, who is doing a wonderful job, including highlighting the NEA's 50th anniversary this year all across the United States. We're gathered here because we all believe in the power of the arts to positively transform the quality of our lives and communities. What would our world look like without artists and the arts? How would we communicate our history and our culture without artists? Many of you here in the audience and here on stage are musicians, dancers, writers, painters, filmmakers, actors, or singers. And I'm so grateful to all of you, and especially to all of the high-profile artists on our Artists Committee who are helping us bring national attention to our issues, whether they're tweeting or here with us on Capitol Hill tomorrow for Arts Advocacy Day. And they include people like 9-time Grammy-nominated R&B singer Ledisi and Elizabeth Banks recently in the Hunger Games, two of the artists who are giving their time and helping us walk around the Hill. So let's give a round of applause to all the artists. Now, we know when it comes to making change happen at the federal level, it takes congressional arts leadership and evidence-based data to make our case. Thankfully, we have both. You can see in this full-page ad that Americans for the Arts this week has placed in all of the political newspapers here in Washington, Politico, Roll Call, The Hill, both the data and the leaders who we thank at the bottom of the page there. But a successful advocacy campaign also takes strategic grassroots lobbying to make our case. And that's why 89 of the most important national arts and civic advocacy organizations in the country, representing more than 90,000 nonprofit cultural organizations of every discipline throughout every region of the country, serve as national partners of Arts Advocacy Day. They are specifically joined by 500 state and local arts leaders, including more than 150 future leaders, emerging leaders currently enrolled in college arts administration programs. So I would like to ask all of these arts advocacy leaders and sponsors and sponsoring organizations and all the participants to please stand and be recognized for coming together in a united effort tomorrow on Arts Advocacy Day. Would you all please stand? Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, there is one advocate here tonight who I would like to take a special moment to recognize. Her name is Betty Plum. You see that Betty is retiring this year after serving the South Carolina Arts Alliance for 27 years as its longtime executive director. She succeeded in many, many efforts, including providing every student in South Carolina with the opportunity to experience quality arts education, regardless of the location or financial circumstances of the school. Now, Betty, I have to embarrass you a little bit more by asking if you would stand and be recognized. And please join me in thanking Betty Plum for her lifetime of service to the arts. Up in the president's box above. Betty and her colleagues know how important advocacy is to advance arts policy priorities, especially in an election year. Tomorrow, we will personally bring our message to the United States Congress. And all year long, our Arts Vote 2016 campaign has been working hard to educate presidential candidates and grassroots arts advocates about the tremendous positive impact of the arts and the importance of public sector support to keep culture thriving in America. We've already held grassroots training sessions in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and we'll be at both political conventions this summer in Cleveland and in Philadelphia. Advocates have been engaging with presidential candidates all year, asking smart questions about their arts policy positions, and we're documenting it all on artsactionfund.org. And the campaigns are taking notice. Positions get slightly better when they see what the other positions are. Advocacy does matter. And that's why I want to thank each and every one of you who have dedicated your time and resources to coming to Washington today and tomorrow so that the voices of arts advocates can be heard on Capitol Hill. Arts Advocacy Day is a powerful signal to lawmakers that this is an issue that the American people, constituents, and voters care about. And we will not stop until the arts are thriving in every corner of this nation. Now, your advocacy has led to some big wins for the arts in the past year. We have a long way to go, but we had some big wins, including fending off budget cuts and even getting a $2 million increase for the National Endowment for the Arts. As well as enhancing arts education provisions within the newly rewritten K-12 federal education statute. Congratulations to all of you for that one. The charitable tax deduction, which is so important for incentivizing private contributions to nonprofit arts organizations, remained intact. And I'm so pleased to say that the IRA tax rollover is now a permanent provision of the federal tax code. All of these victories and more would have been beyond our grasp if it weren't for committed arts advocates like all of you. You suit up, you show up, you speak up, and advocate for the arts, and that makes a difference. But why? Why do people across the land take the time to advocate for the arts? There are, of course, many answers to that question, but a recent public opinion study initiated by Americans for the Arts points to an important one. This study, conducted by Ipsos Public Affairs last December, surveyed a very large sample of 3,020 American adults, huge, about their attitudes towards the arts, arts funding, and arts education. It is heartening to hear what they said. A whopping 89% of Americans believe that the arts are key to a well-rounded education, and the survey suggests that the American public is in sync with federal policymakers on including the arts as part of a well-rounded education in the new Every Student Succeeds Act. Yet at the same time, 27%, a third of them, believe that students in their community don't have enough access to the arts, most notably in suburban and rural communities. So we have a ways to go. Fortunately, this survey also provides some information that proves that elected officials can feel secure about supporting efforts to increase funding for the arts. 54% of the respondents support an increase in federal arts investment from the current 45 cents per capita to $1 per person. Look for more public opinion findings to be released this spring, but that one alone, I think, helps us with some real marching orders for how we can look toward what this government should be investing in art support in America. We will have, as we release over the spring, further evidence that the American public wants more art in their lives and in their children's lives, and that they believe that our elected leaders have a role to play in making that happen. Now, of course, finding public policy sector solutions to arts policy challenges is exactly what the Nancy Hanks Lecture Series is all about, starting 29 years ago with Arthur Schlesinger Jr. But we are equally committed to engaging with the private sector to expand access to the arts for both consumers and employees. And that is why I'm announcing that this year we are launching the David Rockefeller Lecture on Arts and Business, a new annual lecture series in New York City that will feature prominent business leaders who address the vital connection between commerce and culture. And the inaugural lecture, The inaugural lecture will be delivered by renowned philanthropist David Rubenstein, who also happens to be the Kennedy Center's chairman of the board, a terrific philanthropist on many, many fronts, including things like restoring a number of the memorials that are here and making sure that things like the Magna Carta survive. The lecture will be held on May 4th, 2016 in New York City at the New York Times building, so stay tuned. And finally, please help me to thank our sponsors this evening. Nancy Stevens with the Rosenthal Family Foundation and Jessica Yass with Ovation, the nation's only television network. Thank you for what you do and for your support. When we asked John Maeda what kind of artistic performance might help to encapsulate his philosophy of STEM into STEAM, of discovering points of common connection between science, technology, and the arts, he knew just who to recommend. Kaki King is a truly multidisciplinary artist who brings together instrumental music, live performance, and cutting-edge technology to create a unique and mesmerizing sensual experience. She has been praised in Rolling Stone as a genre unto herself, and the Los Angeles Times called her a shockingly gifted, stunningly complex performer. So we thought you'd like that. And tonight, Kaki King will share with us selected pieces from her latest album, a latest multimedia performance entitled "The Neck is a Bridge to the Body." Please enjoy.